Clint, and I'm thinking I should know what restaurant that is.
It's on Mackinac Island. It's the woods.
Okay.
Okay, Joe, you can start us off. We're live on YouTube.
Okay, well, everyone knows that Jane's had some eye problems. It looks like she's joining us, but I don't think she wants to be seen or maybe heard. I'm not sure. But tonight, we've got a pretty good agenda here. I guess when I'm looking at what Jane provided me with, just a reminder that we have a couple of outings coming up. The zoo field trip, June the 5th at 10 o'clock. I think Brian's leading that, but is he here tonight?
No, Brian's in Door County.
Well, maybe he'll be back before the 5th. Let's hope so anyway.
Yeah, he plans to be.
Okay. The notes indicate that we're supposed to meet around, the zoo opens at 9:30, and I believe Brian indicated anytime between 9:30 and 10 would be a good time to meet at the zoo. I think there's more information you can go to in the newsletter that'll give a little bit more detailed information.
Joe, the newsletter does say where exactly to meet, and it also has an update on the mask information required by Milwaukee County. So that's changed slightly.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay.
According to what I have here, next month's meeting, it's going to be the last one of the season. The challenge that Jane put forth this past year, I plan on carrying forward into the upcoming year, and I would welcome any suggestions for topics that we can utilize throughout the next calendar timeframe. You can either send those to me directly or maybe to Jane or to Ellen or even to Jeff, and we'll try to put together a full 12 months in September so that we can start working on various and sundry pictures throughout the year. So we're not scraping together at the very last minute to try to meet the challenge goals for that year. We're still in need of show and tell volunteers for July for the final meeting. Do we have anyone here that would like to be one of those individuals for next month? I don't see any hands going up. Is this a common problem, Jeff?
Yeah,
I'll
yes,
volunteer if somebody doesn't want to.
Okay, who was that?
Chris, I'll take it if nobody else wants it.
I thought you were this week. Okay, well, you're one.
Yeah, I was trying to unmute. I was waving my hand.
Okay,
but I could do it too, so I don't care.
So Patty and Christopher. All right. Thank you so much. I've got you written down. Thank you. We have a July slideshow. They're due no later than June the 19th. The theme is around your neighborhood. I think quite a few people have sent things to Jane, but if you haven't, we would certainly welcome those pictures. Again, that's probably outlined in the newsletter. The key element, 8 images maximum, size 2100 on the long side and JPEG format. I think Jane's email is listed in the newsletter as well. Tonight's lineup, we have a President's Challenge. That was spring. Jane has forwarded me those pictures that everyone submitted. And we also have Clint Wessel and Laura Krasinski presenting show and tell tonight. I'd like to do the show and tell first, and then we'll go to the President's Challenge. And later in the evening, we have a review of members' images by Jeff this evening. Is that correct, Jeff?
Yeah, while we're just add it. I've got 7 people have submitted.
Okay.
Chris Londani, Jeffrey Klug, Jesse Buchholz, Ken Bowman, Ken Warning, Mark Van Cleve, and Priscilla Farrell. Anybody else send me stuff that I didn't get?
Evidently
I forgot.
not.
Do you want me to send you something right now, Jeff?
Sure you can, because I haven't loaded it into my the Lightroom yet.
I'll email you something in like 2 minutes.
Okay.
Well, let's go on and do the show and tell. Clint or Laura, which one of you would like to go first? All right, Clint, you're elected.
All right, sounds good. All
All
right.
right, go to the share screen and let's see what happens.
All right. Well, sometimes I do under and over exposure, as you can see with some of the pictures of the motorcycle. Hopefully you guys can see this.
Yep, we can see it.
Kind of like the reflection off the pillars with the stained glass. Here's an overexposed, a little too bright, like the hallway. Next picture after this one, I underexpose. It's kind of cool with the kind of like, call it like night lights in there, so you get a different view. Kind of like the snow on the tree, how it was formed. This is in Holland, Michigan. I don't mind shooting at noon, you know, with direct above sunlight. I think sometimes you get some pretty nice shots. The big shot on top of the stratosphere. I like the different views and the angles of all the iron, so I think that's pretty cool. So I do a lot of traveling, so kind of some nice pictures like this is in Colorado. Grand Canyons, I did the Grand Canyons. I hiked down to the bottom to Plateaus Point. That was just 6.1 miles just one way, a drop of 3,000, I think 700 feet in elevation. So I had to walk through the snow and stuff like that up on the top. But then when you get towards the bottom, it was sunny and probably in the 80s. So then you got to look back. It's like, oh, I got to climb back up out of here. This is in Yellowstone. I like how the mountain goes through the cloud and reappears. This is in Colorado again, too. The Rocky Mountains. I like how the train goes in the mountain and comes out on the bottom. So it's a big long tunnel. I took a train ride up in Canada. Milwaukee for the Harley Davidson anniversary. These are night shots. I like the waterfalls. Niagara at night with the lights in the summer. They got them all lit up. Fireworks over Niagara Falls. Toronto. Ottawa. Montreal. I like this. This used to be Old City Hall. Kind of like how the buildings and restaurants are lit up. This is in Quebec City. It looks like I was there for an eclipse. You can kind of see the moon. And I think the shadow of the earth. This is Parliament in Quebec City. This is part of the wall around the city. This church was built in 1688. St. Frontenac, I think that's how you pronounce it in Quebec. Bunch of stores in Quebec, all cobblestone streets. This is the oldest grocery store in North America. I think that was 1871. Bunch of lighthouses coming up here. Most of these are on Michigan side, lower Michigan. That's up in Marquette, Michigan, Upper Peninsula. Here in Milwaukee at North Point, I believe it is. I like waterfalls. Some of the views behind the waterfalls are pretty cool, looking into the forest. This is in Oregon. I think it's Silver Falls. Looks like it's into a jungle. I thought that was pretty cool view. And that should be the last picture, I believe. Yep. So that's it.
Super. All right, Laura?
Very nice, Clint.
Thank you.
Okay, see if I can do this. Hold on. Okay, can you see it?
Yes.
Yep.
First, I want to say thank you, everybody, for having me in your club. I'm really enjoying it, and I'm very unseasoned, but I enjoy photography a lot. This is just a couple of the owls at the Who's Woods. They have a photo shoot every twice a year, I think, or 4 times a year, and I went to it. And let me, okay, hold on. There we go. And I go out to Arizona a lot. My dad lives out there, and I got this Gambel's quail out there last time I was visiting. And these two were fishing out in Arizona on the Salt River. They were fishing together. I watched them probably for 2 hours. It was really amazing. It was a lot of fun. I was there to see the wild horses, and we did see some of those too as well. A couple times I've been there. And they eat the eelgrass in the water. It's one of their main staples. There's about 400 to 600 of them in the Tonto National Forest. And this little guy came out, I was sitting in my dad's backyard. It was his 100th birthday. And this little guy came out and I ran after him and kind of cornered him and got this shot. And that's, that is a Costas hummingbird from Arizona. And this was at Who's Woods at the Raptors photo shoot, a barred owl. This one also is a juvenile eagle. And this little guy is a ruby crown kinglet that I found over at Foxbrook one day. This little guy was at Menomonee Park. And this one was at up north in Minocqua. I do a lot of birds and animals, and I'm trying to get out of that box. And this white great egret was at Greenfield Park about 2 weeks ago. And this blue heron, wait, Mike, this blue, sorry, my husband's bringing the dog in and the cats are out. You have to get the cat into my bedroom. So this green heron was at Greenfield Park. This was last year at Greenfield Park where the fawn was sleeping underneath the blue heron on the island. That's just my yard. These two are from up in Minocqua last summer. And he was from last spring also up in Minocqua. This was from this spring at Frame Park. That was last summer near Burlington. And that was Frame Park last spring. 2 trumpeter swans. And this one, the early bird got the worm. I don't know which one actually got it, but these cranes, they were in my yard. All these years I've had cranes come in my yard. Last year I had like 6 to 8 of them, and I sat out by the road and they literally walked right around me. It was the coolest thing. But we have a dog this year, so I don't know if they'll come back. This was from Sedona. That was up in, I can't remember where it was. It was up in Wisconsin, middle of Wisconsin, the Pelicans. This was a couple weekends ago. We were driving down Highway 49 up near Wittenberg, and a mom and a baby, this 1.5-year-old or so, was up in the treetops. And this, I got a story the other morning. My husband wakes me up and he says, "Come on, there's a hot air balloon and it's going to crash." I'm like, "What?" So the first picture is my camera. The other 2 are just with my phone. But the hot air balloon went right past our house across the street and went right below the trees and landed in a little cul-de-sac right back in the subdivision behind us. It was an emergency landing. If you zoomed on their faces, they look a little bit scared. But I think the pilot did really well because he did land it and everybody was okay. And that's the last one is my dog, and that's Cowboy. And that's it.
Cowboy, your dog?
That's Cowboy, my dog. Yeah, he actually had, he was under anesthetic today. He has a staph infection.
Oh, no.
So, but he's doing better. We just adopted him in January. He lived in a shed for 9 months, and we take him to training, and he's doing real well. And he's a blue healer. So that's it then, right?
Nice pictures. Thank you so much.
Cool.
Trying to get out of here. No, my mouse isn't working. There it is. Okay, stop share.
All right.
I got over it.
Well, let me bring up the pictures for the President's Challenge. Yeah, Paul.
Just curious, Clint, do you do any HDR with all your pictures?
No, I have not. And some of the
Clint.
pictures I did was actually even before HDR was even around.
Okay. Any other questions? Well, let me bring up the President's Challenge. These were sent to me by Jane a couple of days ago. So let me share the screen and try to get them in here. All right. If you wanted to see the name, look down to the lower left. You'll see the name of the individual that submitted the picture. And then we'll go through that. Laura, that's one you just showed, wasn't it? Or something like that? Oh, you're muted.
Sorry. So I didn't have any, I kept this one out of there so I could send it to her for this.
Okay. I guess we can feel free to comment if you like as we go through them.
These are just birds in my backyard.
All right. You know, it's odd. The topic is spring, and it looks like all we have are birds. Must be spring birds.
I thought the topic was yard birds.
Ah, I thought it was just spring. Okay.
The Yardbirds were a great band.
That's why we need to come up with topics for the entire year because we're always scrambling month to month.
Yeah,
Just
I
a
agree.
little aside comment. So yes, thanks.
I agree with you, Ellen.
Yeah.
Is that what kind of bird is that?
It'd be a grackle.
Crackle? Yeah, grackle.
I think grackle is the right.
Hungry.
It's a family of ducks.
Looks like another family.
That's the one that got the worm.
That's the furriest bird I've ever seen. That's it. All right. Um, I think we should take note of the fact that in the newsletter, I cannot believe all the people from this club that won all these accolades. Look like Jesse and Roger and Ian and Jane and Carl and Jeff and Pat and Paul and Ken pulled off some minor miracles here with all the awards they pulled together. Personally, I'm not one to enter contests. I'm probably lucky I don't, because these guys' pictures are just phenomenal from what I've seen. So congratulations to all of you, I'd say. The program tonight.
Joe,
Go
we
ahead.
got a couple other things here quick.
Oh, the wacko, and go ahead.
Yeah, I got some wacko and some PSA news, and I've got tips and hints too.
All right, let's do those first then.
Yeah, let me start with, well, wacko news, we don't have too much. We are going to do a Birds of Prey photo shoot this fall, but we don't have information on that yet. So it'll be sometime in September, I think.
September 11th.
September 11th. So,
That'll be at the Audubon again?
yeah.
Yes.
We're working on all the other details and the pricing and everything. So we will be using a new registration system, just to give you guys a heads up on it. It will be slightly different, but I think it might actually be easier. So, and as you said, Joe, we did real well in the competition. Thanks everybody for entering. We'll have some new rule changes coming up, possibly for the fall competition, and as soon as we know about them, we will let you guys know. Another competition that the club has entered is the Psa Club Showcase. We all judged those images December last year, and we came in first place. And just to let everybody know how we did, we had Jane Hurst with her Bluebird Mother and Baby came in number 13. Jesse Buchholz's Dark Jumper came in number 20. John Wiley's Gabriella's Beautiful Eyes came in number 12. Ian's Dickman's Railing came in number 17th. Ken Bowman's Anhinga in Blue. She didn't put down a number for that one. Roger Krill, Pelican's Gulp came in number 2. And Jeff Ewig's Texaco Ahead came in number 16. I do have a short program that I can show everybody if they want to watch that. It's about, I don't know, about 30 or 40 slides.
I think we have time. Yeah.
We got time? Okay. Just give me a second here. Okay, so why isn't I? That's interesting.
All my pictures tonight, I didn't do any Photoshop, none whatsoever. I might have just cropped the picture, but no, tweaking with levels or anything like that. But whatever the camera came out, that's what it came out be. And then some of those pictures are only 4.2 megapixels in size, and that was it.
Wow.
All right.
That's pretty amazing.
Of course, I had it set up on my other computer, but it won't read the screen. So let me see if I can get it on my main computer. All right. That looks like it's it. Okay. So, each year the PSA Wisconsin State Membership Committee conducts this club showcase, and they're showing just the top images here and the clubs that won awards. All right, need to be on that. All PSA member clubs based in Wisconsin are encouraged to enter this activity. There were quite a few clubs that submitted images. All images are from PSA member clubs are assembled and sent to each, and you guys saw all those images. And then they were judged at our meeting. Then we sent back all the score sheets, and Bonnie Zaduma ends up tallying them all up and letting us all know how we did. There's awards for the individual images and for the top scoring clubs. I don't know if there's actually awards, but we get recognized. There were 13 clubs that participated. Some of these clubs are pretty high caliber. Image Makers, Unlimited Vision, East Troy Viewfinders. A lot of them have some pretty good photographers in them, so we did pretty well. So the third place club was Fox Valley Camera Club. These were their 7 images. Brandon Jansen is just, well, he's not quite so young anymore, but he's still in school, so he's turning out some nice work. It's fun watching him grow up. Second place club is Beaver Creek Photo Club. And we were the first place club. Individual awards. These are images that won for individual awards. Feeding Baby by Bonnie Zaduma in Fox Valley. Great Blue Heron with Fish from Beaver Creek. Black Bear, Stan Zaduma, Fox Valley. Pelican Gulp, Roger Krill. Bald Eagle Surfing, Ephraim from Beaver Creek Camera Club. And Bonnie Zaduma is the one that puts this all together and tabulates all the scores. She gets hundreds of score sheets. You know, each of us have put out, I think, about 30 or 40 score sheets apiece. So she does a lot of work. So So that was the PSA Club Showcase.
Very impressive.
Jeff, did you want to mention the exhibit?
Oh yeah, we should mention the exhibit. Just a minute.
I think,
while
is the information for that exhibit in the newsletter also?
Yes, it
yeah, I
is.
think,
Okay.
I think you put it in there.
Okay.
But we're really trying to promote that exhibit. Everybody is able to enter up to 4 images, and it's going to be an online exhibit on the Wacko website. We're not quite sure what it's going to look like yet, but you can submit up to 4 images, 2100 pixels on the long side. They cannot be an image that's won an award in the Wacko competition. They're looking for new images and not stuff that we have posted on the website previously. You're able to sell the images if you want to. They'll take all your information, and if somebody is interested in buying them, they'll be glad to get you that information so that you can talk to them. If you want more information on it, there is a downloadable sheet on the Wacko website under exhibits. And the deadline for that is coming up.
It says June 18th in the newsletter.
Thank you. I don't have that info in front of me. So,
Jeff,
but
is this
please-
basically taking place of the exhibit that was down at the Big Blue Building downtown?
right, yeah, it is.
Okay.
So, we're trying to figure out a novel way to do it. It may end up just being a slideshow on the Wacko website. They're going to try to get info out to various galleries about it. I'm not quite sure what their final result is looking to be, but it should be interesting and fun. And since you don't have to do anything other than submit digital images, they're not going to be judged or anything like that. They're just going to display them on the website. So you can submit up to 4 images. So I think that's all I've got for Wacko and PSA.
If you want to go right into tips and hits.
Yeah, let me see if I can do this. Not real organized. Okay.
Jeff, I have a quick question. Did you submit a
Sure.
newsletter to PSA?
Yes, I did.
Oh, okay, thank you. Then I've been a little out of it lately. Okay, thanks.
Nope, I submitted, I think it was whatever one you had recommended, the December
Okay.
one.
Yeah, January. Yeah, I think.
January, yeah.
Yeah,
The one with
thank
Bill
you.
Reetz's.
Is
Yeah.
that some kind of a contest, Ellen?
Every year the PSA has various categories for newsletters and information and pictures and stuff like that. So
Okay.
one of my goals was to get more photos into our newsletter because that seemed to always be a point, it was like not enough pictures. So it's like, yes, the photographer's challenge. I like that.
Well,
Yeah.
I think we're going to have to get some really creative topics for the President's Challenge going
Right.
forward.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and we need to put them in the newsletter and on the website and that more. We also
Okay.
have a website contest that we enter, and we do okay with that as well. They get a little picky and they have some
Particular?
strange things that things that they want. If you don't have PSA logos and the thing loaded with PSA, they score you down quite a bit. So
Maybe I'll do a page dedicated to PSA totally sometime.
there you go. That's the
All
one
right.
to do.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll see how this works. We need that one. Yeah, it looks like my Lightroom. Okay, so the tips and hints today, and I'm going to go through these pretty quick, are new features in Lightroom and Photoshop. There weren't a whole lot of new features in Lightroom. The biggest update was back in October, November. They've had a couple minor updates in March and February. The February one, I think, added tethering for Canon cameras, and March added tethering in beta format for Nikon cameras. So other than that, and just speed improvements and glitch improvements. So the major updates were really in October. We'll probably see some more major updates in the next few months. But I thought I'd go through them real quick. Some of it has to do with the magnifying glass here. If you hold the command key, I think it's command on both, command or alt on PC, you can zoom in by picking a section and it will zoom in for you, which makes it real nice if you want to zoom in to a specific area. When you're in the develop module, you can zoom just by clicking and zooming in, but then that goes to whatever percentages you have up here. And I have mine set really high at 270%. But you've also, if you hold down the shift key, you get a scrubby zoom that you can actually zoom in and out and pick whatever zooming you want that way. In the library module, there's also a zoom here that you can go back and forth with to be able to zoom in and out. So you have a number of different ways. Also, you have different view modes, which this has been in there for quite a while. But you can turn these on and off. So if you don't like or use some of these, like I don't use navigate, but I do like rotate and I do my labeling and rating. They do have a grid overlay. Now, if you click it, it gives you a real light overlay. And if you hold the command or the alt key for PC, you can then change the size of the overlay and you can change the opacity. And I actually turned that way up because they make it so hard to see. And unfortunately, it doesn't come up with a third grid, but you can play around with it to get, it might be handy. You can turn it on and off. I haven't found it to be super useful yet, but it's there. So somebody thought it was really handy. The next thing they changed in the develop mode was in the graduated filter, the circular adjustment tool and the adjustment brush. I'll use the brush here. They now added a hue adjustment control. So if you wanted to change, say I painted in this green, I don't know if that's lichen or what it might be. I can now change that color to whatever I want. And you've got quite a bit of range that you can adjust that. And then when you get it close to what you want, you have a fine adjustment that will then change it just minor amounts. So that can be handy. It's in all 3 tools. I use it actually with the graduated filter the most, because I can adjust the sky and neutralize it to a point that I like it in a little better. Let's see if I try to go. I'm on all my 5-star ones here. Let me jump to something that I haven't worked on. So just to give an example, with a graduated tool, I can come down and darken that sky and actually warm it up to give it more of a sunrise. This is actually a sunrise, not a sunset, something different for me. And then you can adjust it. And then if I wanted to change that color of it a little bit more, let me turn off the fine. I could change that to, if I wanted a redder sunrise, but I could pick any color I really wanted to for the sunrise. Generally, I'd probably somewhere in that. And then if I wanted to, I can adjust that saturation of that to make it a little stronger. So that's in all 3 of these tools. That can be pretty handy to work with. Let me jump to another one here. And let me just do a quick auto process. Okay, the next change is color grading. This used to be what they call split toning. And you can adjust the tones in the shadows, the midtones, and the highlights. And I don't tend to use these individually. I like them single. So if you click on one, you get this. So this is now adjusting the color just in the shadows. And you just can click and drag. And if I wanted to warm up the shadows, I can do that. Or if I wanted to turn them maybe a little bluer, because for here the shadows would be better, I think, if they were slightly more blue. What's nice is you get to see right here what that color is, and you can actually adjust the sliders, and if you change the saturation, you can just see it moves it in and out. So you can do it manually, or you can just drag right on there. And you can do that for all 3 sections, midtones, shadows, and highlights. So midtones I don't see as much use, but I can see it maybe in the highlights and in the shadow area. And it can be really handy for helping to bring out your sunsets a little bit more. So, and they also have an overall global one if you want to use it. I found I don't tend to use this one as much, but I do tend to use the highlights and the shadows. It's also sort of nice that they do give little dots to show that you've actually adjusted those. So if I adjusted this one a little bit, you could see a dot pops up down there. So, and if you double click on the name, it will zero it out. So that's, and that replaced split filters, which I never ever use split filters. So this was, is a handy little thing to have, especially if you've got a weird color cast somewhere, you can sort of fix that and neutralize it out.
Jeff, I never used split cast either, but this I use all the time now.
Yep.
Flowers, I use it a lot.
Really is handy. Let me get to a little more.
Just the luminance alone comes in handy. If
Yeah.
you got, some spots that you need to be a little bit brighter, the midtones especially. Or if you want to give it that matte look. It's really easy with the shadows.
Ah, okay.
You just boost up the luminance on the shadows, and it gives it that very soft matte look.
Okay.
Much easier
Hey,
than
that's
messing
good
with
to
the
know.
tone curve and everything.
Yeah, yeah. And that's something I never really fooled with much either. All right, I'm just gonna take this into Photoshop. Man, do I have a dirty sensor. So the rest of the stuff is in Photoshop. And it's gonna take a second while that kicks up. Probably should also. Get these to flip around. Okay, so yeah, it probably wasn't the greatest picture to. Well, let me work a little backwards here. Something that they've changed in Photoshop that's thrown a lot of people off is they have save, which normally saves your image. Save as, everybody used to use. Oh, I hate that this stuff pops over on a different screen. The save as, now you can save either to the cloud or to your computer, but if you save it on your computer, you will now notice that save as only has these file formats that you can choose from. So that's thrown a lot of people because you really a lot of times want to do a regular JPEG, not the JPEG 2000. I do PNG all the time, and I use TIFF. So what they did is they've gone now to a new one called Save a Copy. And in the Save a Copy, you now have all your different ones, especially JPEG. Because what used to happen the old way, when you did save as, when you saved it as a JPEG, it couldn't save all the layers, so it was making a flattened copy of the image. So now it's just saving you the extra step and making you go to save a copy, and then you have a few more formats that you can actually work with. So if you're missing a format that you want to save a copy of, use save a copy, not save as.
What was the export function do?
The export function, yeah, I was just going to mention that. If you go to export and go to export as, it brings up a whole dialog box which you can then actually save as a PNG, actually PNG, JPEG, GIF, or SVG. And what's nice as the export is that you can then adjust the size of the file to export out. You could either scale it down to 10%, all the way up to 500%, or at 100, or just change the pixel size. So here with this one, if you wanted to save it for competition, you would just have to go to 2100, and then it automatically resizes it. It uses a certain resample rate that you can pick here, and you can actually include copyright. You can convert it down to sRGB or embed the original color file in it. So the export as makes it a little easier if you have different ways that you want to export it and you want to control the size and not have to use. What I used to do would be to duplicate the file, change the size of the file, and then export it out. Now I don't have to do that. I can just do export. So it's works pretty nice. You can select a number of files doing that as well, I believe. But they'd have to be open files on your computer. They also, and I didn't check into this lately, but under export, you can do a quick export, export as, and for the quick export, if you choose your export preferences, and of course everything pops up on the wrong screen, you can get some settings in here for the quick export, conversion, some of that. I've got mine set because I use PNG files. I tend to use those more because I'm usually exporting with, I want a transparent layer in there. And so I when I'm exporting, it's usually for graphics and that. So yeah, they have updated both the export and save a copy. So just gives you some better ways to, easier ways to do it.
Jeff, you brought these in from Lightroom. Do the changes that you made go back to Lightroom?
Any changes that I go in here, except for the save a copy or save as, does not go back to Lightroom.
Okay.
Only the save one does.
All right.
So export won't, and save a copy and save as don't get put back into Lightroom. So let me get out of this one. And we don't need to save it. Do I have, no I don't. Okay, let me just find a file here quick. I usually have this stuff set up a little better, but I was jumping between two computers and couldn't figure out which way to go. Where's my, that mono one? All right, should be able. So the next thing that Photoshop has changed is they have these neural filters. And this one filter, they've just updated it. And we'll see how well it actually works. It's new, as you can see here. It's a new one. Let's download it. But this will actually go the other way, and it will recolorize your black and white photos. Now, I don't have an old photo like this to be able to show, but we'll see what happens when it looks at this black and white. Now, what it does do, and it gives a sort of an interesting look. You have a bunch of adjustments that you can make, and it really actually creates sort of an interesting looking photo. Now it is sending the image up to a cloud. I think I like it better on the red side, and let's add a little more yellow. And you've got quite a few adjustments. And and it looks like they've got a bunch of different types of colors and settings that you can go with. Let's see, how about retro green? We'll try retro green. So you can see it does take a little while for it to process. And then you can adjust the intensity of it. It's sort of an interesting, it can be a fun filter. I think it could be a nice filter for your old photographs that you'd actually like to convert back to color. So it is one that could be fun to play with. We'll just hit OK so everybody can see what it looks like. So, and it creates a new layer so you can see the before and the after. And it gives sort of an interesting old-time look to the photo. So, something fun to play with. Let that save. Let's see here. I need a portrait. This will be ugly. Oh, that's not the ones I thought I had. Okay, with this one, this is also with neural filters. They've got a number of different things that you can do with portraits, and one of them is a depth blurring. It's supposed to be able to blur the background of your image. And we'll see if it can just, yeah, and it, as you can tell, it blurred out the background even more than what it was originally. And it has 3 settings, low, medium, and high. And it does a fairly decent job of picking out what the background is and keeping the subject sharp. And again, that does it by creating a background layer or a second layer so that you can see a little bit of the difference. It showed more, I think, in the other one than it did in the final result. Also with the neural filters, they have skin smoothing, which will smooth out the skin and blur the image a little more. You can tell that it's picking out the face. There's also a smart portrait where you can change the expressions, make a person a little more happy. This usually goes a little quicker, but it is sending it up to the cloud to do this stuff. And with me running a Zoom meeting, my internet is getting a little slow. There we are.
Can you do one for the anger?
Yeah, we'll do one with the anger. How about if I turn it way up? That's been the way I've been sometimes on this last photo trip. Yeah, look familiar, Ken? Or you can actually change a person's age. This can be a lot of fun. I use it the other way more. But so I guess that's what I'm going to look like in 20 years. But you can also change the direction of the gaze. So you can do quite a bit with it. And it...
Oh, my.
Even hair thickness. Let's see.
There we
Might as
go.
well get rid of my hair. I'm going to be an angry old man.
Oh, my.
You also can turn the head
Oh, my.
in a direction. So this stuff can be a lot of fun, but it actually can be pretty handy in some portraits where if the head isn't turned quite right. You even have light direction that you can actually change the light a little bit. You've got retain unique details. I'm not quite sure what that's all going to do. I haven't played with a lot of these. So that's the angry old man from 20 years from now. But what's sort of nice is you do have it as a separate layer that you can turn on and off. So the Nero filters are constantly improving. I'm starting to use them for certain portrait stuff. Not that way, but in a lot of other ways. Let's see. I needed... we'll save that one. Let me see if I can find one of my model shots for the last one here. All right. I lost my models. Now, come on. That's what happens. I normally work with my a teaching drive, but I set this up on, grabbed my other drive because I left the teaching one at work, or at home actually. Let me see if I can find the models that I have. No. Oh, shoot. And I need somebody with hair. We shot all those models all these years. You would think that... Here's my... Oh, that's not the... Boy, somehow I lost all the clubs. Oh, there we go. Here we go. Nope. That's interesting. I lost all the model stuff that I had. All right. Well, the other thing that they've improved, it was actually the hair. Select subject has gotten improved, and it refining and being able to pull out hair from a portrait has gotten a lot better. The select subject has gotten really nice. And we don't have a whole lot of images for the other stuff, so I guess it's not a problem to keep going on here. But let me just grab a racing picture. Or do I have something in my zoo stuff? That would work. Yeah. And that might even work for the hair selection. So, got a grizzly bear here. So, what they have now, if I can get it, is you have a button here that is select subject. And if I hit that, what it will do is it will look for the sharp thing, and then it will crash Photoshop. Okay, let's try that again. And this is using my modern laptop, boy. So you've got, you can find it easiest if you pick the magic wand or the quick select tool. And let's see, I just need to hide this. It's always under my window here. So you have select subject. It's going to be one of those nights. It doesn't like it. Let's try a different image. Sometimes they'll do it. We'll give this one more shot and then I'll give up.
You're going to end up as that angry old man here shortly.
Yes, I am. I haven't had Photoshop quit this much in a long time.
Yeah.
Although it's a 32 gigabyte RAM on this computer. I've got a Mac Mini that has 8 gigabytes of RAM and runs twice as fast as this laptop. And it's the brand new with the M1 chip, and that Mac Mini is just amazing. So, okay. Select subject. And are we going to crash? Nope. Okay, so you can see it selected the subject, and it does a pretty good job with that. The next step would be to go to select and mask so that you can refine that edge. And then, let's see, I believe it's this one here. And then you just bring the refine edge tool along the fur, and it will, and you can do sections of it. That's what I usually recommend. Otherwise, sometimes you overwhelm it. but you could see that it ends up, you just want to keep the plus sign in on the area that you want to make sure it keeps. And with ladies' hair, it's just amazing on what it can do. You can adjust, there's some adjustments here that you can do for edge detection and smoothing. I do feather it about 1 pixel, and I shift the edge about just a little bit because I just found that works a little better. And then I usually output it with a new layer with a layer mask. And then just hit OK. And you can see now that it's got a really good selection. And you can see that it really got all the fur. And being that it's a layer mask, you can now readjust it. Like in here, it didn't do a real great job. So I'd probably go back and fix that area up. And there's a couple spots here where it didn't do real good. And I did this pretty quick. I would go through it a little more carefully. But they've really gotten the select subject and select and refine of the mask down pretty good. Let's see, is that everything that I had? Neural filters. So that's about all the new stuff for Photoshop and Lightroom. And you'll see, being a subscription-based, you will constantly see new improvements coming with Photoshop and Lightroom on a regular basis. One thing I was going to mention to everybody, I just bought another hard drive today because I had one old one crash. And I get all mine from Costco. They're Seagate drives. And something that I'm finding that really saves me a bunch of money, I needed a 5 terabyte portable. And now you're getting 4 months of free Photoshop and Lightroom when you purchase a Seagate hard drive. And what they will do is they will add on to your subscription that you already have. So I keep buying Seagate hard drives, and I've actually, for my second license for my other 2 computers, I haven't had to pay for Photoshop or Lightroom now for almost a year. Because I get between 2 to 4 months of free subscription. And lately, right now, it's 4 months. So that's really a nice deal if you're needing a hard drive and want to save some money. That's a $40 savings, so I can either figure that hard drive cost me, it was on the 5 terabyte portable was on sale for $70. You take $40 off of that, and you're down to $30 for a 5 terabyte hard drive. Wow. So that's a pretty decent deal. The other thing, if a person's looking for a computer that's halfway decent and pretty cheap, Costco has the Mac Minis right now for $600. All you need to add is a keyboard and a monitor, and you've got a pretty good computer. It's 8 gigabytes of RAM and a 256 solid-state hard drive. I've been using it here as a secondary computer, and it's smoking my laptop right now. And my laptop is a 2020 MacBook Pro with 32 gigabytes of RAM and 1 terabyte solid-state hard drive. And this Mac Mini is putting it to shame. So I just bought a portable external to up its hard drive space, and for less than $800, I've got a complete computer here that could do quite a bit. So, okay. So I guess I'll go into image review next. It's going to take me a second. I have to shut down one Lightroom. So why don't you guys chat? Whoops, I almost ended the meeting. That would not be good.
I hope we didn't put everyone to sleep.
Yeah, I don't know.
So Ken, I saw you taking pictures today. Did you get some good ones or not?
I have no idea, Joe. I haven't taken them out of the camera yet, so
That's it.
haven't looked at it since I've gotten home.
Okay.
But it is a nice area. I do like it, and the birds are a little farther away. So I had 2-500 lens with a 1.4 converter on it, so that and a crop camera, so that get me out there quite a ways. But there was some feeding going on, and there was, the one blue heron would fly in and feed all the chicks. The nest I was looking at, it had 4 blue heron chicks in it that were pretty large.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was another one where the adult was still working on the nest and adding more branches to the nest. So, and there were probably 4 or 5 different nesting sites on that location.
Mm-hmm. Pretty popular spot.
Yeah, it was very nice.
Yeah.
And as you saw, I don't have a problem pulling off the road and stopping and taking shots there.
Just watch
Jeff.
out for Germantown police.
Yeah. So you ready, Jeff?
Yep. Let me reshare now that it's got it in the right spot. Oh, I changed settings in this. Show photos and subfolders. There we go. All right, I let Lightroom sort of mix these all up. Let me get rid of... Yep. And let's see... Okay, so this is the first image we have. I guess, why don't we have everybody hold up however many fingers they think, and careful which fingers, please, 1 through 5, for what you would give this as a score, and then we'll talk about ways to improve it, if needed. I'm seeing 4s, some 5s, a lot of 4s and 5s. Any suggestions on improving it?
The feet. It would be nice to see where the frog came from.
Yeah, maybe a little farther down. Yeah, it's a little close down in here. Maybe. Everything's nice and sharp. Whoops.
Oh,
The eyes are sharp.
yes.
Frog's pretty sharp.
Maybe background a little bit more blurry.
Yep. Okay.
The blue patch of water keeps catching my eye. I wonder if that could be
Either removed or maybe made a little lighter.
Which blue patch?
Lower right.
Shadow.
Lower right. Here?
Right.
It's a
Okay.
shadow.
Yeah,
It's a shadow of the bird.
I think it might. Yeah, it looks like the shadow of the bird.
Hmm.
I wonder if a person. They should just be in develop. That'd be easier. Get rid of this panel. Well, probably with the raw file, you could probably lighten that or even go in with the brush. And
Now that I can see the feet in the water and you can see the shadow from the legs over it, I like the picture better.
okay. So
Is
you
the
could
horizon
lighten
up?
or you could even darken it to make it easier to see the shadow, which might actually help the picture too.
Keeps drawing my eye over there.
So maybe just if can't get rid of, well, the other thing that you could do, I can't do a good job of that. Whoa. You could, except then you couldn't enter it in nature. This doesn't do a really great job of,
Try Hue once instead of clone Jeff on that.
yeah. That's a little
Probably
better.
something content aware in Photoshop would probably be the
Yeah.
best option.
Yep. Okay. Let's go to this one. All right, what kind of score would you guys give this one? I'm seeing a lot of 4s, a few 3s. Not too bad. 3s and 4s. Any suggestions on improving it?
Is the lighthouse straight? It looks like it's leaning to the right a little bit. Maybe it's just my eyes.
One little thing that I can tell people, if you hold the Command and Alt key down when you're in crop mode, it will go to the level tool. And we can, yeah, it is maybe just a tad. Let's see if sometimes. Does that look straighter?
No, it went the wrong way.
The other way looked better.
There, I'll use the lines that way. How's that look?
Good.
I think it is better. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that way was better. It's hard to tell where to grab for a horizon, so using this up and down part.
And I don't know if that lighthouse is necessarily straight to the horizon.
Yeah.
So
I almost think maybe a little more contrast to get the birds to stand out from the smoke, the fog. Probably wouldn't hurt, although I will say I haven't calibrated my monitor for a month, so that could be part of it. I think the lighthouse is in a good spot. The birds add some interest. Yeah, I think just maybe a little more contrast. I was curious to see. Yeah, I don't like what auto does quite a bit for a person, but just adding maybe about 45 plus on contrast might just do the trick.
I like it. It makes it look very mysterious.
Other thing you could do too is if you wanted to soften that fog, you could go negative in the clarity. With the contrast being up, it still gives enough contrast in it, but it makes the fog of the clouds look a little softer. Okay. What would you give this one for a score? I'm seeing 3s and 4s. Looks like more 4s than 3s. A 5. Suggestions?
Use the neural filter on his face to make him smile.
Yeah. I don't know what that would do with that mustache of his.
I'd probably give it a vignette to darken the frame around them a little.
The doorstep seems off kilter. It's not level, but
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, but the wood is going straight up and down, so it's kind of hard.
yeah.
Use a
That's
transform.
what I noticed too.
Use transform a little bit.
Or just
You gotta
crop
be
it.
careful. It's gonna make him look weird.
He's kind of weird
Yeah, I'm
already.
not sure if I tried this.
I think I would like to see it with the sides closer to him rather than showing that much of the doorway also, and focus on him a
More than
little
the
bit
door, yeah.
more.
Use it
Make
like
it
a
a-
frame. Yes.
Correct, yeah. A very tight framing of him.
Yeah, it looks like he's pretty much, well, it changes it a little bit with that guided. I don't know if that helped it.
I think the doors or the stoop is uneven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll turn that part off.
That's how they built houses back in the day.
Yeah, nothing was straight.
No,
The
we live in
lines
one.
aren't too bad here when you look at like the wood on this outside edge. This
Right.
one here, I mean, it is an old time. I actually think this might look neat as a black and white or a sepia
Just
tone.
what I
blend.
was gonna say.
So. Let's see.
I like that.
Yeah, it's looking pretty decent now.
Yeah, I think that is stronger. He has a stronger presence.
If you go with, I almost like that sepia tone even. Although I would.
A lot of options.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, honestly, this is actually probably a good photo for one of those everybody edits it type challenges that we do. Because
Yeah.
I could see editing this photo 10 different ways.
Yep. Yep. A lot of different possibilities with that one. Interesting. Neat character.
When it was in color, it seemed like the lighting was a little too harsh on the face.
Yeah. Well, and I could see taking it in. There's a lot of different things. I would probably take it into Nick plugins in their monochrome section, and you could have I like their sepia tone better in that, and then you could do a lot of other stuff to make it look old.
Mhm.
So there's a lot of good possibilities with this one, and you could make him grittier looking for the face, and that might be nice. The color's not bad though. I think the color's got something too, and you could probably even you know, do some playing around with that, but maybe just a little, drop the highlights a little bit more. I don't think you need to open up much of the shadows. So, yeah, it's
Jeff's frozen up.
Yeah.
Jeff? Yeah, okay.
Welcome back.
You're still on mute, Jeff.
He crashed.
Jeff, if you're talking to us, we can't hear you.
Hope you can hear us.
yeah.
There we go.
Okay, now you should hear me. Yeah, I made Ken a co-host just in case this would happen. So fortunately, we didn't lose the whole stream. Let's see, and I think we're still live on YouTube. Just got to check that quick. Yep.
Looks
Says
good.
so up in the top left.
Yeah, it still shows it there, but you never know. Okay, so I need a score on this one before everybody froze but me. That was the weird part, is I was still showing up just fine. Okay, so we're getting 3s and 4s. All right. Suggestions. I'm not sure what in the world I'd do. It's a nice shot.
Yeah. The background on the upper right is drawing my eye a little bit.
Okay.
But that's all. That's
Looks
all
like
that I
it's-
could see.
Yeah. It looks like it's vignetted already some. You might be able to, maybe if you even vignetted it more. Is that too much? Because really the whole shot is right in here. The other thing too would be you could up the clarity to make it a little grittier looking. Depending on what you're trying to achieve. This is another one you could have a lot of fun with. Boy, don't everybody give me suggestions. Been a long day as it is for me.
Well, the main focus is the face and lighter in that, so the lighter is lighting up the face.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do much to it.
Yeah. It's an interesting shot. Okay, what about this image? Looks like I got
out of the
3s,
middle.
2s, 3s, a 4. Mainly 3s.
I'd crop some off to the right. And
You could crop it as portrait.
Yeah.
Probably either make it black and white or I'd mess with the colors because it's all kind of the same color
Yeah, true.
other than the reflection.
Yeah, that mustard color just takes everything out of that photo.
Yeah, it is sort of funny, this color here.
Well, even around the water where he's
This is the color grading. That's where I'd mess with it.
I'm just not sure what, I don't think it's the shadows so much. Maybe in the grays.
I was gonna say this one probably the mid-tones. So much is just brown.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
a
that-
tough one.
That mustard color is really sticks out kind of like a sore thumb.
Yeah.
I mean, you could go to HCL and try to see what yellow and orange do. Maybe
Yeah.
it's hit or miss too, though.
Boy, that is a strange color shadow.
Take the saturation, Jeff, and take the saturation down in that yellow.
Yeah.
It might be just unfixable.
Oh, that
maybe
actually,
not.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that
It
looks
is
a little
yellow.
better, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
I actually like it a lot better.
Mhm.
And then,
It matches more.
yeah.
It also gave it a lot more contrast. I feel like because it took that yellow out and
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that yellow just was, that was a funny color from it. But that, yeah, that fixed it.
Time-wise,
Actually-
Jeff, we're about 13 minutes till 9.
Okay. Yeah, at least we're not getting kicked out. All right. Yeah, we should get out. We'll move on. But that's gotten it a lot better. That
I agree.
original color was really sort of strange. Okay. Score on this one. Oh boy, we're all over the place on this one. I'm seeing 2s, 3s, 4s. Suggestions.
Crop more.
yeah, I like a square crop, but I don't
Crop
think we need a
it,
square
yeah.
crop on this one.
Yeah, I would have liked to seen the whole beak in that bird.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
I don't know, that helps a little bit, but yeah, you really need, I think, the whole beak, the whole bill or whatever you'd call that.
Well,
Either that or you end up really cropping it, maybe to a tight headshot.
You know what you're looking at anymore.
I don't,
Yeah.
yeah,
it doesn't help. Yeah, that's
No.
not bad.
Like, what is that?
Yeah.
And
It's
then
sharp.
also the-
I got to say that. I mean, the focus is tack on. You look at the eye, and I mean, this is blown up now
Mohawk.
pretty big. So,
Yeah, their highlights are blown out a little bit. I would go over to the graph and pull it over.
yeah.
That helps.
That helps. It's a little hard in here yet, but a little hot, but yeah, it's having the whole bill would probably be a lot better.
improvement.
Okay. So this one.
Four.
4s. Few threes, fours. Suggestions?
It's a little busy composition wise. I'm not sure who the subject is. I really like the colors and the straight lines.
Maybe the
Just not
tiki,
sure where to look.
maybe if we crop it to the tiki torch and then the main bridge in the background. Yep. Then there's not so much going on.
Sort of like that, maybe?
Bingo.
Yeah, I like that.
That makes a
Definitely.
big difference.
I give it a 4 then.
Brings the bridge out.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. This one. Twos, threes. A 4 here and there. Suggestions?
I would probably crop just to the right, top right corner. Because I think that's the best part of the waterfall.
Yep. So go this way?
Yeah.
A little bit more.
Keep going. Like a bunch. Like keep going.
Oh, just
There you
to
go.
this
That
section?
yeah, that section. Maybe not that
Oh, okay.
type, but yeah. that's the
90%.
best part. Yeah. That's
10%'s good.
you laugh, but that's how I crop a lot of my photos.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it's good. I mean, it's nice to have the megapixels that you're able to do something like that. But no, I like
Absolutely.
that.
No, it's interesting.
Would Guy Hayes help or hinder that?
That's a great view pointing out that little section where it really pops.
Yeah.
It was sharp and it had nice contrast, and those lines are really nice there. The wisps.
They're nice, fit, thin in that and bright.
Okay. Better keep moving here. What about this one?
Go black and white.
Like a dollar sign.
Yeah, just about. I get threes. Black and white almost does look a little better. I think also maybe.
My take with architecture is if the color isn't helping it, then you
Yeah.
make it black and white. And this was
think
a
a-
case where if you drop the color, it didn't become too busy.
Yeah. How's that look?
I like that.
Better.
Yeah.
I'd like a little more contrast.
Really?
Yeah,
That?
Yeah.
yeah.
It's a cool photo.
Okay. Yeah, interesting. All right. How about this one? I'm getting fours, threes, twos.
I'd also make this one black and white because of those blue windows.
I think the black and
Yeah.
white would look really nice with the lights too around the railing.
Yeah, this is a little distracting over here.
I'd take off the right.
Bare minimum, I'd at least desaturate the blue if you're going to keep the color, but I think it looks good in black and white. Cool curves and lines, I should say. Nice blend of the two.
Yeah.
Abstract.
And let's see, I think.
Too bad the building across the street isn't more blurred out, but
Well, we can sort of
Try
toned down.
cropping off some of the right.
Yeah. Could probably go about there.
You're putting that
Sort of-
curve on the third.
Yeah.
You can use that L key to see how it would look.
That's better so far.
Yeah.
Or what if you tilted it instead? So, no, the other way. Other way.
Okay.
Make it parallel with the window lines.
You're gonna lose a lot of that window on the
Yeah, I
top
don't
right.
think I can go
I thought
quite
about
that.
that too.
Yeah. But if you got them at an angle, that might work. Let me reset that. I think pulling it in to about this point, and you could probably pull it in here a little bit. Almost a square would work.
There you go.
Yeah,
Something
that's
like
better.
that.
That's better, yeah.
Because then you got the third line here on this curve. This one's close enough to this one.
Yeah, the intersection at the top right corner is very important, right there.
Yeah. Okay. All right. On this one. 3s, 2s, 3s, 4s, mainly 3s. The highlights are a little blown out.
Yeah, ain't that a slap in the face?
Yeah, that's always hard. Probably with the original file, you could pull those in a little better. If you up the clarity a little bit, get a little more mid-tone contrast.
Mm-hmm.
But then you got to open up the shadows of the geese. Ken's favorite bird, by the way. My favorite bird for dinner.
And yeah,
Also-
and cropping always helps.
Yeah.
Oh, you can still get the thirds.
Yeah, there you go.
Now you can tell
That's
that the head is doing something here under the wing.
right, right.
I hesitated about cropping because I wasn't quite sure about the thirds and that, but it works.
Yeah. Yeah, that definitely helps it.
Mhm.
And watch the highlights, because you can even see here they're still blown out, and I don't think I can, not on a JPEG, I don't think we can get it in, and you really want to get the highlights showing, not get some detail in there.
Some dodge and burning.
Yep. With the raw file, it would work a lot better.
Mhm.
Oh.
Okay, this one.
Wonder who took that shot.
Yeah. Looks like we got 3s, 4s. A lot of 3s and 4s. Suggestions. Do we want to
No,
crop in?
I would crop in from the left side like you're doing,
Yeah.
just to keep the tree trunks in. And
I don't think I want to do too much.
Maybe add a vignette to cool off those ferns. Bring attention to her.
I think without the edge of the tree on the left, you lose whether that's even a tree in the background.
Yeah, that's little line on the tree. I kind of agree because then it shows how massive the tree really is.
So if we get just a little bit of it.
Does that little log on the ground bother anybody?
Yeah, I'd clone
No.
that out.
no,
This one here.
Yeah, get rid of it.
Jeez.
There's distraction.
I don't like
Yep.
that crop on the left.
Yeah, I would make the crop either bigger or get rid of it.
Either go back
Yeah.
this way.
I
Yeah.
think that looks better.
I like one or the other.
Hmm.
Yeah, true.
Okay.
The way it was originally, it was too small. The crop, between the tree and the background.
I think this one shows off the tree scale
Yeah.
better, but I think the other crop where Jeff's first attempt at cropping when he brought it in tighter drew more attention to her.
True.
Yeah.
So it just depends how you want to make the photo.
Your main
Focus.
subject is.
Yeah. Because I
Yeah,
mean,
'cause
the tight crop, you still knew it was a tree because of the one in the front.
Yeah. But this does give you more size-wise
Yeah.
if we keep that in.
Like a giant redwood tree.
Yeah. I might tone this down a little bit more just because this light spot sort of pulls your eye away. So you might
The
just...
ferns look a little on the blue side.
Yeah, they do.
That's a little better. Well, probably could just warm that whole thing up a bit. How about like that? Okay, let's keep moving because we've got 6 left. Okay, this one.
I don't like the light on the face. It's got light and shadows.
It's hard because maybe if you want to make it like a silhouette, maybe that was kind of the main, purpose to try to make it look like a silhouette. It's hard.
I'd try to bring more details or into the body area too, because otherwise you just focus on the face. Maybe more mid-tones in the jacket and the clothing.
That's better.
Yeah,
It's hard because there's a lot of shadows.
the shadows. Yeah.
Clean
Yeah, the
shadow, yeah.
shadows are one that's sort of hard to play with here. Yeah, I think the shadows up in here in the face just are a little. I don't know if there's much. I toned it down here so it's not quite as much, but yeah.
Well, the shadow coming right between, almost by the bridge, almost divides her face a little bit in half.
Mm-hmm.
Coming down.
Yeah. Okay.
That's a hard one. Yep.
Yeah. This one. We got 3s, 1s, 2s. The eyes are between the chain links. That helps.
It would be
Yeah,
nice
so-
though, I think if the mouth could have gotten just a little bit more over, I don't know, or maybe step back a little bit to get a little more of the mouth in there, because that just seems a little cut off. That's a hard one to work through the chain links.
If she would have moved to her left a little bit, I think the eyes would have come through an opening and the mouth also. And the left eye is a little bit out of focus.
There's something stranger that you can do. Soften it up and make the fence not as noticeable. Okay.
Make it more
This one.
ethereal, yeah, ethereal. I mean. Yeah.
Threes, pretty much 2s and 3s. I think need to bring it in tighter crop.
Yep.
I don't know if I can. Yeah, I don't want to get that close, so I think that's going to be about right.
Yep. Better.
Would
So
a
that's
vignette
better.
would a vignette help darken the background flowers?
Yeah.
Better.
Now this one would be a good one. And if we weren't running so late, I'd probably do it, is take that into Photoshop and do the select the subject, and it would probably get most of this flower, and then you could really blur that background down. But doing a vignette does help doing it. And then, well, the other thing that you could do,
Starting to almost look like a painting.
yeah, I did it. I got it the wrong way. Don't need to invert it. But now you could also do negative clarity and darken it. Sort of like that with the radial tool.
Jeff, what if you just took the original photo and you just cropped it to the center where you got all that nice color and detail? Yeah, something like that, just to see what that looks like.
Oh,
Yeah, that's not too shabby.
it's a different look. Yeah.
They look like a group of kidneys.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Okay, next one here.
It's nice the way it is.
Yep, not too bad, really.
I would
Fours.
crop it.
Yeah, I was almost thinking that you could crop just a little bit to about here.
Yep.
Because you really don't need all that extra space, but the background's nice and out of focus. The bird's eye's nice and sharp. I wouldn't really do too much more to it.
No, I think it's right on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. This one here.
Too bright.
Got 2 left.
Mm,
2s, 3s.
crop. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely
Crop.
crop.
3.
And the hard part is 2 items isn't real great.
No.
Try one.
Sacrifice the bottom one.
Too much stem.
See, that's not going to work because you got that weird stem at the top.
Well, then I would.
You're just gonna clone.
Take it out.
You're gonna clone the other stem too.
Oh, sure. Why would you pick there? I mean, it's not going to do a great job.
No, you definitely have to do a content away.
I'd have to do that in Photoshop, but yeah, and then I would probably take and get rid of this one as well.
You could,
Since
like I said,
this-
you could just crop it, keep the red one.
I'm curious to see
Yeah.
what that would look like.
Yeah, I think the stem would be, well,
And then put your stem back, Jeff.
It's floating.
Right. Looks like a cup.
It's just hanging in the air.
picture the stem.
UFO.
Oh, we can get rid of that. It's
Low
easy.
lying fog.
That's better.
I mean, that's
Yeah,
better.
that's because of all the dual.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that looks very nice.
Mhm.
I mean, yeah, that's great.
A great observation.
Yep. Yeah, you need 1s, 3s, 5s. Always work better. 2s, just don't do it.
Sets up too much of a formal balance, which is hard to work with.
Yeah. Suggestions on this one.
3.5.
3s.
I think it's very busy.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool. It's kind of cool because it shows all the birds and that, but it is also like what you said, busy. But it's maybe that's the main, subject, in that seeing it's busy with all the different birds at the same time.
Yeah.
I
It's too
think
bad.
it would make a great puzzle.
It's too bad
need
they
to
cut
get
off
rid
the
of
bottom
one
of that
bird.
heart.
We got 4 birds. We need either 5 or 3.
Well, technically, you got 3 on just on the right side, or the right side of the picture, but or 3
Yeah, I
on the
almost
left.
wonder if you did just do something like this.
Yeah, it would take some recreation, but if you could get rid of
Yeah.
that bird feeder, I like the heart with the 2 birds.
Yeah, that would. Yeah, okay, I see what you mean. Yeah, if you got rid of this in the hook, these 2 birds in the heart, and then shift a little
Mhm.
farther
What?
down.
What
See,
if
and go ahead.
What if you do the 2 birds, the one on the bird feeder and the other one that's flying? I know you're not supposed to have 2 birds, but the bird feeder could be in the 1/3 and the bird that's flying maybe 2/3.
See, and I like that because I like the yellow bird feeder, and then I like the fact that the birds are yellow. So
Mhm.
It
Also-
matches, it blends great.
they knew which to stop at, because it was like, oh, we have to go to the yellow feeder.
So that flower is kind of in the way.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of possibilities with that one.
Yeah.
One more bird might do it if you had 5 birds, but yeah, I think I like Ian's idea. You'd have to get rid of that, and then
Take some
that
work.
might, if you got rid of all this, that could work.
Yeah,
If you had a little bit-
Photoshop's magic works really well on that bird feeder to
Yeah,
recreate the house behind it.
yep, yep.
Sometimes it does.
Yeah, it's
And the
amazing.
flower boxes in the middle of the heart. So it is cool.
Yeah. Okay, that's all of them.
All right. Great job.
So, yeah, and only 15 minutes late.
Yeah.
That's
Could be
okay
worse.
because they would take 15 minutes of driving home. So
I was just going to say, I don't have to drive far anymore, so it's okay.
Something we can think about just to let everybody know. I did talk to the rec department this month, and they'll be back to normal by this fall. And if we did want to go back into in-person meeting, that is something that we can think about. I'm trying to see if I can find out about internet, to see if we could still keep doing some sort of Zoom hybrid setup. The other problem that we will have to, and we will discuss at the board meeting in August, will be that I may not be able to make the Tuesday night meetings in person. So we will have to find somebody to bring computer, projector, and all that kind of stuff. So we will probably discuss that more in July at the last meeting, to get everybody's opinion. And then in the August meeting, we'll have to make that decision on what we want to do.
I
Whether
do
we
like
go
that.
back to in person or not.
I do like the meeting that, you know, that we go to the rec room, but it's also nice is for people that can't make it. It's nice to have both options. We can, you know, do a live, you know, what do you say, Zoom meeting too.
Yeah, and right now I don't think a hybrid meeting's gonna work. I don't think they have high enough internet speed. They think they do, but as I was talking to them, all they'd be able to give us is Wi-Fi, and Wi-Fi and Zoom for us would not work as well because we do such high quality photos, and I don't think they have the high enough internet rate.
No, I agree.
So
I
it's
think it was
it's
slow.
going to be either or, and that's something that we're going to have to decide on.
Plus,
And the
we
board
would
will
need
make
the
that
equipment
decision.
for that too, Jeff, then too. We
Right.
would need the equipment to broadcast it.
Through the camera
Right.
and all that, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's
I have
another
that
expense.
equipment, but I'm not going to loan it out, and I'm not sure if I really want to tear down my studio setup here to move it over there. So that would be something that we'd really have to look at.
Well, we do save some money by not going to the rec department, right?
Yep. We could maybe do, you know, something where we keep doing virtual meetings for the meeting and just do more field trips and get together type
That
things.
would be fun.
Better.
You know, maybe think of different ways to do this. But I just thought everybody can start thinking about it. We'll discuss it some more in July. And then August, when we have the board meeting, the board will make that final decision. So,
Cool. Well, it was a great camera club tonight. Thank you, everyone.
yeah.
Very good.
And I am still looking for a vice president. If
Don't answer the phone at
somebody
9.
doesn't volunteer soon, I am going to start making phone calls. I have a couple potential names of people that I got on my list, so look out.
I'll still do the newsletter for another year.
Okay.
I'll commit on a year-by-year basis.
You really do a great job, and you put a lot of work in. So thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah.
It's
And
less,
Pat-
I've got to come up with a plan B for sending it. I screwed up this week, so.
It's
But
still
you
Pat,
work.
will you stay as treasurer for a while yet?
I
Okay.
think you do a really good newsletter, Ellen.
Oh, thank
You
you.
should be proud of it.
I am. I just
Yeah.
hope
Yeah.
people get info from it that they need, so.
No, I think it's a good one. It's improved a lot over the last couple of years here, so
What's
I
cool
think
is
it's
we
neat.
keep adding to it, you know, making it better. So a little tweak here and there.
Well, adding the interactive makes it easier for people to maybe click on something rather than have to type in some of those long URLs and stuff like that.
Nice.
So,
Got the quick links. Yes.
yeah, I'm still learning about that.
Ellen, a quick question.
Uh-huh.
I'm looking at all the people that are on the meeting tonight. I still see a lot of faces that are not here with us that would normally have been at the old meetings. Can they get a copy of the newsletter to keep track of what's going on or not?
Everybody who's paid dues gets the
Okay, that's what
newsletter.
it is. All
Yeah.
right.
Right. You don't pay, you don't.
You don't get.
You don't get, no,
All right.
no.
You don't play.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't
Pay to
pay,
play.
don't play. Yeah.
Yeah.
We might
Okay.
pick up some more people when we go back in person. I know there was a bunch of people that dropped out because we were going virtual. But then we're also going to lose, what, 1, 2, 3 or 4 people.
Mark won't be able to
we'll
make
lose
it.
Ken Cena and Mark Van Cleve, and I think,
Yeah.
Well,
and a
just
few
fire up
others.
a
So
private jet and you could be here in an hour.
I was just- Would that be the
Don't be so darn cheap.
private jet? Yeah. Yeah. Fire up the.
$10,000, you could be here.
sure, there you go.
We'll have to raise the dues.
Yeah,
There we go.
yeah.
Hey, the camera
we
club
need
is not
Star
paying
Trek.
for the private jet.
How about Star Trek in it? I can transform myself.
Beam me up. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Well, it's something that everybody can think about, and we can discuss it some more in July, because I think we'll have some time in July to discuss it, to give as much info to the board as we can, so that the board has a better idea of what everybody would like to do. So,
Well, it's nice to have an idea that people can think of already. Start thinking, it's like, okay, we have some concerns, like what can we do to maybe fix or improve this? So I think it's great to, let us know early. So thank you.
personally, I really like the virtual because I don't have to haul all that equipment. And like I said, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to haul equipment this fall or not, due to some personal problems. So we may have to then look at coming up with a way for somebody else to bring equipment and do all that. And
then you were also mentioning about the equipment. Someone would have to purchase that too. So that's another expense, correct?
or unless a few of us here have it, but it would depend whether they want to bring their own equipment or not. I know Don Gorzak has a bunch of stuff. Ian, I don't know if you have stuff that you'd want to.
Just a laptop. That's all.
Just
I
a
have.
laptop. So I don't know if anybody else has a projector. I've got my old projector. I would probably could donate to the group because I don't use that one anymore. But that's an old 1024 by 768 projector. That's pretty crappy.
My projector is a slide projector.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go back to slides.
Yeah, we could go back to slides.
Uh,
So that's all sort of some of the stuff that we have to think about moving forward.
Well, a lot to think about. To say the least.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
I do think the idea of having a virtual meeting, but making sure that we have the field trips and that type of stuff. So if you do want to be more interactive, person-to-person type stuff, we would have those to complement the virtual meeting. Which I mean, we already are doing more
Yeah.
now that things are starting to reopen again.
Open. Right.
I
And
missed-
actually, I think everybody can see when we, do Lightroom and do demonstrations, everybody can see it so much better virtually than you can sitting at the back of that long room
Absolutely.
and going, well, what's that say up there?
Yep.
So, I mean, I'm more than happy to keep doing it this way. And we might even be able to do, people could come earlier, and if I switched it to a meeting instead of a webinar, we could have breakout rooms where everybody could sit and chat, or groups of people could sit and chat in different breakout rooms and talk. Like a half hour before, like everybody used to do, sitting at the different tables.
I like that idea
So-
because someone comes up, like, hey, Jeff, I know that you're into landscape photography, and I could ask you a question on land, photography. And Ian's like, oh, what do you recommend in Chicago? Where, so I like that idea.
Yeah. So that's something that we
Well-
could look at as well.
Or even think along the lines of our tabletop shoots where maybe every other month we'd get together in the room for like a workshop on a particular, I don't know, just, let me think about it. Oh, my battery's going. I think I have to
Uh-oh.
leave, folks.
Bye,
Whoa.
Ellen.
Two things I was
Yeah.
thinking about would be the pizza, that was nice for, the Christmas party, and then the Sundays,
Yep.
Sounds
get-
good
we
to me,
can-
Clint.
And I'm getting hungry.
Yeah.
Where's my ice
Well,
cream?
Yeah, we could always, meet as a group somewhere and do that, and just have it as a social event instead of doing,
True.
Yeah, I mean, we used to
camera club
do
meeting.
like the Fall in the Falls thing, and then we would have lunch at Pop's
Okay.
Custard. For
Right.
Yeah.
example.
Yeah.
I was just thinking of
remember
that.
I
Okay.
mean, we could try working a lot of that kind of stuff out. So,
So I could have my ice cream and eat it.
yep,
There you go. There you go.
there you go.
All right, I gotta
So-
leave because I'm
Well,
running out of juice.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
Bye.
we got
Bye, Ellen.
a lot on
Yeah.
the table, and
All
we'll get
right,
to it
bye.
next month.
So we'll talk about it next month, and hopefully we'll have a vice president by then. See you next month, everybody.
Good night.
Yeah.
I-
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.